On the official site for the anime adaptation of Heikadasai, Takamine-san, a new promotional video for the project was revealed. The video confirms that the premiere is scheduled for April 2nd in Japan, and shows a fragment of the musical themes. A recent debate on Japanese forums has centered on Kanojo's manga, Okarishimasu, with users expressing strong criticism of the series, despite its great popularity and the impending fourth season currently in production. Some praise the artistic quality of the drawing, but others couldn't help but point out that writing a story is not the author's forte. It has a great drawing quality, the girls are cute, there will be a fourth season, there are already 40 volumes, was the comment that opened the debate in the aforementioned forum. However, despite all these aspects that many other franchises would definitely envy, it did not take long for criticism to arrive, especially towards the number of volumes of a story without significant progress. What's going on that it's almost 40 volumes in and still nothing major is happening, another user commented, with many pointing out that the story has been stagnant for years. But away from the story, what the Japanese couldn't help but criticize was the protagonist, Kazuya Kinoshita, who they described as disgustingly unbearable. One user called him an intellectually disabled protagonist, while another noted that his brain is a mess and he's a complete idiot. Nevertheless, it is definitely a surprise that such a story with zero development and such an unbearable protagonist has endured for more than 40 collected volumes and has been a mainstay of Weekly Shonen magazine for more than 7 years. On the official site for the anime adaptation of Sword of the Demon Hunter, the first promotional video for the project was revealed. The video confirms that the premiere is scheduled for March 31st in Japan, and shows a clip of the closing theme song titled Senya Ichiya Feet Izumi Nakasoni, HY, performed by Hailtribe. On the official site for the anime adaptation of Blue Orchestra, a new promotional visual for the second season of the project was revealed. The press release confirmed that the premiere is scheduled for the fall 2025 period and that this second season will have a total of 21 episodes. The official site for the anime adaptation of Your Forma unveiled a new promotional video for the project. The video confirms that the premiere is scheduled for April 2025, and shows a clip of the opening theme song titled Grid Out performed by Yama. The official site for the anime adaptation of Bocce the Rock announced the production of a second season of the project. The release did not indicate a scheduled premiere date, but did reveal important changes in the production team. The most significant change in this new phase of the series is the change in direction. Keiichiro Saito, director of the first season, has decided not to continue at the helm of the project, leaving his place to Yusuke Yamamoto. The Cloverworks studio will continue to be in charge of the animation, with Erika Yoshida in charge of the script and a renewed team in charge of character design. The long-awaited episode 60 of Re:0 Starting Life in Another World has finally been released, and it was definitely worth it. The shocking thing is that the production took about a year and a half, as revealed by the director and storyboarder of this episode, Yasuaki Fuji. Fuji shared that this episode was a long and challenging process, from the first sketches to the final product. But not to be outdone, the episode was loaded with action and intense battles, and that requires top-notch animation. White Fox, the studio in charge of Re:0, had already demonstrated its commitment to quality by splitting the season into 2 parts of 8 episodes each, with a months-long break in between. This level of detail and careful work is evident in every frame. On the official site for the anime adaptation of Toru Kagaku no Railgun, the production of a 4th season of the project was announced. The release did not reveal a scheduled premiere date, but did indicate that Tatsuyuki Nagai will return to direct this 4th season at JC Staff Studios. A press release informed that the Toru Umbun no Item light novels will have an anime adaptation. The release did not disclose production details or a scheduled release date. On the official website for the anime adaptation of Witch Watch, a new promotional video for the project was revealed. The video confirms that the premiere is scheduled for April 6th in Japan, and shows a fragment of the opening theme song titled Watch Me and performed by Yosobi, who wrote the lyrics specifically for this project. On the official site for the anime adaptation of I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire, a new promotional video for the project was revealed. The video confirms that the premiere is scheduled for next April 5th in Japan, and lists a fragment of the musical themes. It's been almost 5 years since its release, but Genshin Impact has managed to stay relevant during all this time. One of the factors that have definitely kept it afloat has been the character design, which has captured the attention of players with each new character that is announced. And that is precisely what happened this week, as Verisa, the the sacred heroine has been introduced, a beautiful electro girl who has captivated fans with her spectacular thighs. A press release announced that the light novel's My Status as an Assassin obviously exceeds the heroes, will have an anime adaptation that will premiere in fall 2025. The release also revealed the voice cast and production team for this project. A 62-year-old man from Fukuoka, Japan, was the victim of a rather bizarre scam where he lost 15 million yen, almost $100,000. According to the police, the man, who was unemployed, received a request to follow him on social media from a woman's account. After accepting, he was redirected to another site where he was offered to earn money for watching anime. It turns out that the website he was taken to was posing as a famous anime production company and asked him to pay a membership fee and royalties. Convinced he was dealing with a legitimate company, the man ended up transferring more than 15 million yen in payments to different accounts over 2 months. It was the bank, noticing the suspicious transfers, who alerted the police and uncovered the entire fraud. This type of fraud is not new. Fukuoka police reported that last year there were 849 cases of telephone fraud totaling 2.33 billion yen, and 664 cases of social media fraud that caused losses totaling 6.94 billion yen. Things are changing in Japanese television, and Nippon Television Holdings does not want to be left behind. Faced with a slumping local market, the company has decided to bet big on international expansion with an ambitious goal to generate 1 trillion yen in revenues outside Japan by 2033. To achieve this, they will exploit their most popular anime franchises and work with giants in Hollywood. One of the first steps in this plan is the opening of a headquarters in Los Angeles in July 2025, which will focus on content production and serve as the foundation of their global strategy. It should be noted that Nippon Television Holdings is not just a TV channel, but a giant with more than 40 companies under its command. In its arsenal it has legendary studios such as Tatsunoko Production, Speed Racer, Gatchaman, and Madhouse, Hunter x Hunter, Death Note, So no Frieren. In addition, in 2023 they added Studio Ghibli to their ranks, securing the iconic films produced by this studio. The Japanese content market outside Japan is booming, with revenues already exceeding 4.7 billion yen, while the Japanese television advertising market continues to fall, barely totaling 1.6 billion yen. Currently, anime and video games account for 90% of overseas revenues, but this company wants to go further and try its luck with variety programs, dramas, movies, music, and live events. Shinichiro Ikeda, CEO of Studio Dean, is revolutionizing the way work is done in the anime world. Instead of continuing with the endless working hours that have been the norm in the industry, they have decided to go for a healthier approach, even if that means financial losses at the start. In a recent interview, Ikeda recounted how he encountered the harsh reality of the studio when he acquired it from IMA Group. When I asked what time I should come to the studio to see how everything was running, the previous owner said, "How about between 1 and 3 a.m.? That's when the most talented people are at their best." At that point I knew I had to change that mentality. So his first big decision was to establish a more humane work schedule, with a 6 p.m. start time, something that is almost unthinkable in the anime industry. But when he proposed this, the executives came down on him. They told us it was impossible, that if they didn't work until the wee hours of the morning they wouldn't meet the deadlines and the studio would go bankrupt. But if a business is only profitable by exploiting people, then there is something wrong. After a few years, revenues started to rise again, and people were working better. In the end, it turned out that it wasn't necessary to wreck one's health to make good anime. In addition to improving working conditions, Ikeda has also decided not to interfere in the creative side of the studio. Unlike other managers, who put in their ideas even though they have no idea, he prefers to let the experts do their job. Spending over $400 on a life-size Gardevoir plush toy is definitely something worth bragging about. That's what's been happening recently on social media in Japan, where Pokémon fans have been sharing photos of their new acquisition and, as expected, have sparked all kinds of reactions. The plush toy measures approximately 170 centimeters, slightly more than the 160 centimeters originally announced, and, although it can't stand up, it can sit down. The reason? He has a surprisingly large butt. As one user explained on social media, "My life-size Gardevoir has arrived. I can see why just having him at home will improve my quality of life. The skirt is quite long, so I think the actual actual height is around 170 centimeters. Also, he can't stand on his own, but he can sit, which explains why his butt is so huge. This is a big booty Gardevoir. Artificial intelligence, AI, is creeping into the manga and anime industry, and many translators are already seeing the consequences. While some believe AI could put them out of work, others think the problem is dirtier. Publishers are using it as an excuse to pay them less. In an interview with Gizmodo, David Evelyn, official translator of Kaiju No. 8, talked about how publishers are starting to use tools like Novelist to do quick translations of manga and light novels. But for him, AI isn't a real threat because it's a total disaster. Translation is not just passing words from one language to another. I don't think AI is threatening jobs because, honestly, it's useless at what it does, he commented. According to him, the AI doesn't understand context, doesn't know how to make puns, doesn't adapt cultural references, and fails to make dialogue sound natural. Basically, it translates like Google Translator in its worst days, which is useless for something as important as manga localization. Even though the AI still doesn't measure up, publishers are using it anyway, and the problem is that they're doing it to pay less. Currently, most manga translators work as freelancers and have to take on several projects in order to pay the bills. The rates are far from fair, between $100 and $250 per chapter for weekly manga, and between $1,000 and $1,700 for monthly manga. And here comes the dirty play. Publishers are using AI to do quick translations and then hiring humans just to correct mistakes. Companies say they're going to use human editors to proofread what the AI does, but that's basically translating from scratch. The difference is that now they call it AI proofreading and expect us to do it for pittance wages, Evelyn explained. A recent study analyzed the activities that generate the greatest sense of pleasure in different cultures, revealing marked differences between Japan and some Western countries. While in the United States, the United Kingdom and Spain, the activity considered most pleasurable is sex. In Japan, it is eating something delicious. The survey was conducted by Tenga Corporation, a well-known brand of adult toys, and the results quickly sparked a debate on social networks. Some suggested that Japanese culture itself had sabotaged itself, since talking openly about sex in a survey is still taboo. Others pointed to more social factors, such as a decline in interest in relationships among young people, something like a decline in interest in sex. A report about the upcoming episode of the variety show Shinkansen Irasai revealed that it will cover the story of a man who fell in love with his classmate's mother and ended up marrying her. That's right, the protagonist couple of this story lives in Shizuoka Prefecture, with an age difference of 21 years. He is 32, she is 53, and, to make everything even more soap opera-like, she is the mother of his former schoolmate. How did it all start? Technically, they met on a parent's visit from school, but the love affair came several years later, when they met again and he felt that her pheromones got to him. From there, a courtship worthy of a romantic manga began, or rather one for adults. The guy didn't beat around the bush. He invited her to lunch through his daughter, yes, his former classmate, and in the middle of dinner he blurted out, "I'm in love with you, let's be a couple." Yukiko Nozawa, the artist behind the manga The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You, issued a warning through her social networks that did not go unnoticed. In his message, he politely asked fans to stop sending him ideas for the next girlfriends in the series. "It's not that I don't appreciate the support, but if you start sending me ideas, it could lead to problems in the future. If any ideas were to become similar to what we already had planned, that could cause messes, and personally, I'm a little afraid," Nozawa explained. While he welcomed comments and feedback, he made it clear that such messages can be dangerous in the long run. A new report from Bloomberg has brought to light a mystery that has been haunting Dandadan fans. Why did Crunchyroll virtually ignore the anime even though it was a smash hit? With such potential, it stood to reason that Crunchyroll, the anime giant, was going to cash in on the hype. But no, they almost didn't promote it. According to a leaked internal email, Crunchyroll Senior Vice President Marcus Girdman told his team to avoid making too much noise about Dandadan. The reason? Ongoing discussions about acquisitions. What does that mean? No one knows for sure, but everything points to the fact that there were behind-the-scenes negotiations that made Crunchyroll decide not to bet heavily on the series. If this already sounds weird, the worst thing is that Crunchyroll stopped talking about Dandadan since mid-October, shortly after its premiere. During its entire broadcast, there was not a single post on social networks, as if the anime did not exist. They only mentioned it again on December 21st, when the series ended and the second season was announced. If this were an isolated case, maybe no one would say anything. But the truth is that Crunchyroll has screwed up before with their marketing. For example, at San Diego Comic-Con, they hosted a special One Piece concert, and the idea was to have have the series ship sail across San Diego Bay. Sounds epic, right? Well, it wasn't, because they forgot to light it properly and most people couldn't even see it. Japanese animator Okarishimasu shared on networks an interesting reflection on how food scenes in anime can have a strong eki charge, even if it's not something the viewer consciously notices. According to him, there's a reason why certain scenes of characters eating can make some people uncomfortable. Food scenes and eki scenes are more connected than they seem. From a directing point of view, food scenes and eki scenes have a lot of affinity. In fact, they're practically on the same level. I think that's why there are so many people who feel rejection in this case. If you put sex appeal cues into a food scene, the impact is multiplied. Also, when it comes to communication at the table, women tend to be more sensitive to these details. That's all for today. Which of these news stories surprised you the most? Leave us your opinion in the comments, and if you have any news you'd like us to cover, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the little bell so YouTube will notify you when we upload new videos. Thanks for joining us, and remember, every week we have more of the best anime for you. See you in the next video. Bye.